We do, in fact, seem to be live on the internet. Okay, let's get this started. What have we got? Anyone got anything in particular they want to talk about? Start us off.
How close are we to 0.7?
Pretty close, I think. Yeah, having forsaken uni down again, we're pretty close. There isn't anything else major that really needs merging in. We got maybe a few things that could do with bringing in, but nothing spectacular, I don't think. It would be nice to bring the gallery in before 0.7, I suppose.
What's the status of that?
The gallery?
Yeah.
Well, the PR is ready. It only has one example in it at the moment.
Did we decide on a format?
Well, have a look at...
I thought there were a couple of competing kind of ideas.
So have a look at 1718. This is based on the Sphinx gallery, so it puts the gallery examples into the documentation by virtue of the examples folder. It creates an examples folder in the root of the directory, root of the Git repo, and then it compiles those into, it runs those examples, captures the output, and compiles them into the documentation build.
How much slower does the gallery make tests or build time substantially slower?
Well, depends on what examples you were to put in the gallery. It would make the document. It makes the documentation build as slow as it takes to run all of the examples. So this PR, no, not really, because it's just doing one simple example. But if we were to write complex examples in the examples folder and configure them to run, then yes. So you can have two different types of examples in this. You can have ones that run and capture the output, and ones that don't run and therefore don't capture the output. So you can write complicated examples which are documented and converted into the docs, but without any output captured.
And it's just running on the documentation, Travis. What?
What?
If it just run on the Travis documentation.
At the moment, it's running on read the docs and also as part of the Travis build. Yeah.
On the Sphinx one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it means that if you were to make a PR that broke one of the examples, it would fail Travis.
It's probably a good test, right?
Yeah. Only, obviously, for the examples which are executed. The examples, if you were to write an example script that isn't executed, it obviously won't fail if you change it, because it's not running it.
Looks good to me.
Obviously, what we need to do is write some examples.
So these hash symbols have meaning, right?
The long lines of comment.
No,
Yeah.
but so yeah.
Yeah, those blocks that start with a whole row of comments are then converted into the text sections in the examples.
Right. So is this and what kind of markup is this?
RST.
RST.
With respect to writing examples, I can do something as I've had a bit of practice with this now.
Yeah, we're good.
And so the example gallery is intended for what? How does it differ from the user guide?
Self-contained scripts as opposed to... So you can download these as either notebooks or scripts and run them.
Right. Okay.
The limitation with this approach is the limits of build and memory on read the docs, which is something that would just need to be kept in mind when we're writing examples, basically.
And what are those limitations then? They're just, I mean, onerous. What's like we can't use gigabytes of.
Well, put it this way: the plot example failed when I tried to use a full resolution AIA image due to memory consumption. Something we'll have to think about as it goes on. Maybe throwing some money at read the docs for larger build bot would be worthwhile.
Money is something that we're going to have, right?
Well, hopefully. Or we can move the build off onto something else. There are many options.
Okay, so I guess we just need some more examples then, right?
Yeah. For the moment, any examples that cause resource issues on read the docs, we can just configure to not run or something.
All right. guess I will give this a +1.
Nope. Hey, Steve.
Hello.
We were just talking about the examples gallery.
So is this a working meeting? What's going on?
We were just talking about the examples gallery in PR 1718.
I think it's already gotten enough +1s, right?
Ow! How have you? How? Ah!
You're just trying to fix it?
I just added a changelog entry and now it's conflicted. Damn it! Learn how to use get attributes already.
Fix it. I won't fix it. That's what happened.
There we go.
Ah,
Rebase that mama jama. Merge. Okay, now all we need is examples. Write some. Examples go in the examples directory in the root of the Git repo, in case that wasn't clear to people. So I think pretty much everything in for that we'd want to get in for 0.7 is in. Can anyone think of anything else in particular that would like to go in for 0.7?
Stephen, we can hear you chew very well.
really?
Yes.
Okay, let me mute myself.
I assume the deafening silence is no, nobody can think of anything they want to put else that they want to put in 0.7.
I would like a patch or fix so that we can do multiple light curve file downloads.
That is quite a patch. It involves rewriting large hunks of the existing light curve class shortly before we rewrite all of the light curve class.
You think you looked it over?
Yeah. It would involve, I don't know, it would involve reverse engineering the way that conditional dispatch handles it if you give it multiple URLs. I have no idea how it does that.
Yeah, conditional dispatch. Ugh. Does the Fido gets rid of all that stuff?
No, but once Fido's merged, we can write a factory class for map that then gets rid of all that stuff.
Okay. I did want to put in my light curve plotting refactor stuff that's been sitting out there
Okay.
in 0.7.
Well, I was contemplating doing a double release on Friday, if you fancy getting it done by then. That would then give us like a month of it in the wild before SPD.
Actually, you cut up.
If I was thinking of maybe doing the release this week on Friday or something, and then that would give us a month of it in the wild before SPD.
So you're saying I don't have a lot of time? That's fine.
I mean, we can push that back if you want, but if we don't do it this week, it won't be next week. It'll be the week after because I'm away next week.
Okay, I'll do my best to get this week.
Cool.
Do we want to? I would suggest, since we have the gallery, that 0.7 include a number of gallery, like we fill it up a bit.
Yeah, we should. Before we do 0.7, we should put some more examples in the gallery. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So that's on all of us, I guess, to add stuff in there. What about fixing the sample data? Would that wouldn't take too much time to put in 0.7?
You mean adding in that extra sample data, like all of the unified sample data where they're all on the same day?
Yeah, rebasing essentially to that day.
Yeah, I might have a look at it. I'm not sure whether I'll have time.
Is anybody else interested in this and would like to gather information? And basically, I think what needs to happen now is we need to go out and grab all that sample data. Some of it is easier to grab than others.
211.
If no one else has the time, I could, assuming it's something that is logically easy to do and just a matter of laborious time consumption.
Yeah, I mean, what instruments were we talking about getting? EIT, LASCO, AAA, HMI, Eve, Resi, all the stereo instruments, Lyra, Goes, and XRT, and Callisto. Yeah,
so I would recommend people we create a list, and then people, start grabbing some, and just say in the issue, just say, I got this data or something. You could also make a pull request on sample data, GitHub LFS repo, if you have it.
Yeah, I'll provide download links in the issue, and I can add it to the relevant places. And then we need a PR to the master branch with it added.
So you want 0.6.4 for the SPD? Is that the plan?
0.7 for SPD.
Whoa.
We gotta have dreams.
It's doable. We can definitely do 0.7 if we just resign ourselves to not adding uni down. Because it's all done if we don't add uni down.
And so what would constitute the 0.6 to 0.7 having a major 0.1 change?
SunPy 3 coordinates, and many other things that have changed.
Okay, yeah, that seems reasonable.
Just check out the change log.
Yeah, what have we got?
Change log is big.
Color maps for iris. Dropping query response number of records. Draw rectangle and draw contours. Maps. Map shift. Automatic registration of map subclasses. I am going to do some in-place editing of this here thing.
Since we have a few people on here that are part of the board, is it okay, Albert and Jack, to meet on that Saturday?
I replied maybe.
Or you did reply?
I did. But this will officially record my maybe.
I think Albert said yes.
Yeah, I already replied on email.
Okay, thank you. David said it was okay. Huh, I don't see your reply, Jack, but
I definitely pressed the maybe button on Saturday.
oh, you put it on the, I see. I was not looking there, but thank you.
So that changelog looks good enough for 0.7 to me.
Yeah. Yep. It would be nice to get. It would be nice to do the sample data and the plotting. But are we going to? Yeah. Well, shall we say feature freeze by the end of the week?
Yeah, but I would not. But the gallery should still be open. I would say people can add stuff.
Yeah. Do we? Okay, we'll say yeah. I won't do 0.7. I'll do 0.7 when I get back from holiday.
You shouldn't have said that.
But
that gives everybody an extra week. Should have held that extra schedule in your pocket, in your back pocket.
Otherwise, I'll just surprise you all with 0.7 on Friday. Be like, haha!
Another board-related question. Stuart, you had suggested, was it Brigitta to replace Tom?
Yeah.
Is that right?
I approached her at PyAstro and she wasn't keen. She said she didn't have a lot of time. So
Oh, really? Okay.
yeah.
That's too bad. What if all our meetings are on the weekend?
This appears to be resolving into a short meeting. Anyone got anything else they want to talk about?
Oh, we need more to talk about. We can talk about the issues that I created.
Ah, yes. Yes. See, the interesting thing is that it doesn't use memory mapping when opening AIA data.
What?
Why is that?
Because it has the integer scaling keyword. It can't do memory mapping with rice compressed integer data, which scales to pixel value. I can't remember what the name of the header keyword is, but it's like Z scale or B scale or something. If you set memmap equals true when you are trying to open a rice compressed AIA image, it will fail.
Okay.
That's just because it's rice compressed, right? I mean, basically it has to uncompress.
Not because it's rice compressed. It fails because it's trying to scale the rice compressed data to actual count values. It's not inherently the rice compression. It's the fact that it's storing number values as integers and then scaling them to the actual count values. Or whatever they are. I don't know.
Huh.
Yeah, well, I don't understand why that's the case, but that aside, we still have to at least acknowledge this memory mapping issue and decide whether we want to do anything about it.
See, I wanted to change it to default. I wanted to force it to true a while ago because it's nice to have it true when you're trying to deal with large amounts of images in map cubes and such. Because it stops it munching all your RAM. But then I discovered the AAA bug, so that idea went down the pan. I say bug, more expected behavior.
Does anyone else have any thoughts?
Well, I guess that we're going to end up. Like I came across this problem a couple of years ago, and the U-limit solution was the way I came up, the way I got around it. So we're going to be telling users this over and over and over again, right?
How did you get around it?
I changed the number of open files I could have in my system.
For the specific issue about
It's the ulimit command.
Yeah. Does that work under Windows? Can you do that under Windows?
I'm not aware of how you do it under Windows, but there may be a way.
Like the default in my Ubuntu system is 1024. So in 6 hours of AIA data, full time cadence is 1800. So it's pretty easy for a lot of solar applications to quickly run into a large number of files being opened.
Yeah, because that's not taking into account the ones that you're
Yeah, any
system
other
has
file.
open anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's on top of whatever else the system's doing. So IDL then just loads everything into memory. Is that the... Or MATLAB, do we know what other systems do? Do they have... Do they handle this automatically in some way? Anyone know?
I do not know.
My worry is that this is just be perceived as a SunPy bug or an AstroPy bug.
I suppose what we could do is...
I mean, there's a way around it, but like, you know...
I suppose the best solution would be to expose the option to the users, right?
I think that's the way forward is you... Like, that has to be in the docs somewhere, for example. Education, right?
You'd have to expose the option, but not everything could take advantage of that unless we coded it that way. I mean, that's assuming the readers can do the memory mapping, which may or may not be the case. Like we're through this factory, right? So it's a little bit weird just sending a memory map on a keyword if not everything supports it.
Okay, I definitely did this a while ago. Let's find it.
But if we think, my view on the memory map is that if we think about DKIST, you're going to need to memory map all that data.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's quite easy enough. Here we go. It's quite easy to conceptualize the case where you get to data that's just too big to read into RAM. Okay, take a look at pull request 1297. Which basically allowed arbitrary keywords to be passed from map through to the underlying feed layer.
Which one you said?
1297. I mean, this is one approach. The other approach we could take to exposing it to the user would be like context manager or a config option. I quite like the idea of config, but the context manager actually. With memmap. load this, you run this stuff. I mean, changing the default to false.
So
Unless we-
memory map unless someone says, yeah, okay.
Or the opposite, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah.
Change the default to leave the default as it at the moment and have a memory map. It's false context manager.
Oh, you mean in the configuration file?
No, I mean like where you do with SunPy.io memory map false or something like that.
Well, why not just put it in the config file, which we already have?
Because I think that
Let
you
people
probably
change
wouldn't
it.
want to turn it on permanently or off permanently. It would depend on what the data was you were reading.
Yeah, use dependent. I didn't actually try this, but I was thinking, like, when it comes to reading in, let's say, what Jack said, 1,800 files.
Well, you
If for every single file you did a deep copy on that, that would get rid of the memory mapping reference, right?
Sure.
So that would be a workaround on this. Someone should test this to see whether it actually works. But did a deep copy, that'll put into real memory, and then the file should be able to close normally. Probably.
Yeah. If you do a copy or recreate the NumPy array in memory, it will fix it. But I mean that's pretty ugly, especially if you're doing it on the map. But I mean the stupid thing is that Fits Open has. Probably refactor that to use a context manager. Yeah, the stupid thing is that, you know, AstroPy Fits.io has the ability to change this. We don't need to be telling our users to do deep copies or anything. We just need to expose the functionality of the library we're using.
Yeah. So why didn't you ever merge this? Because of weirdness if someone specified something that wouldn't work?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I could try and resurrect it and see what happens. No.
Yeah. Totally was.
Are we done?
No, I was plugged into the Mac. I still think that sucks for some reason.
Why is it's not better for you?
Oh, I'll just this. Maybe that. Maybe this laptop that really died on you repeatedly. Some of those issues.
Yeah.
Okay, did anyone have any other comments on the memory mapping?
We should have we should think about what we want to do. Here we are. I'm reopening this PR. You can see whether that breaks all the tests or not.
Another thing I guess I'll raise, because I created an issue this morning, was are SunPy uncertainties supposed to be relative or absolute? I guess is really the question. They don't seem to say in their document, and the concept they have in there is absolute uncertainties. Does anyone have any idea?
I didn't hear that. Sorry, Albert.
I mean, I think I agree with you. I'm just putting it and then it's clear. I prefer.
Jack, you said something?
I said that I didn't hear what you said.
Oh. That's your problem. I was saying that I created an issue this morning about the fact that one of our doc strings on uncertainty says that we return relative uncertainties. So what we do is we return the SunPy uncertainty attribute, which at least for the constants that we use appear to be absolute uncertainties. I just wanted clarification of what we're supposed to be returning. And then if they are absolute uncertainties, I also mused that we might as well return a quantity there, because otherwise it's an absolute uncertainty with no unit attached to it, which is kind of weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we decide to go with relative, you can actually, there's a percent unit, so we could do percent. So units either way, make it clear.
Unit all the things.
I guess a question is, why does anyone know anything about the SunPy constant model? Why don't they do that? Why isn't there uncertainty a unit value?
I do not know.
It's odd.
Send an email to AstroPy Dev and ask.
I don't care that much. I don't do this. I just created the issue.
Do we have any, what are the overlaps between AstroPy constants and SunPy ones?
Well, we grabbed like the mass of the sun and a few others from AstroPy.
Okay.
But most of our uncertainties are 0 anyway, so it's actually moot, or it's not relevant.
But we should fill in.
But they have like mass of the sun, and I forget what else.
Yeah, I also noticed that, maybe I just never noticed this before, but we carry uncertainty and unit. So because we're using ND data, we have uncertainty and units, right?
Yeah.
That comes along with ND data now.
Yeah.
Except we have another parameter called unit.
Yeah.
Which is very confusing. So we carry unit and unit.
Units is none.
Yeah.
Should always return none.
Unit is the unit of the axes, I think.
Yes. Unit is the unit of the axes, and units is, in theory, the unit of the data. But
yeah, that's terrible API. I'm not sure why I ran into this recently, but We should
Yeah.
fix that.
The solution is to change unit to something else.
Yeah. And then why can't we? Can we fill in units? Don't we get that in most fits headers? You get the unit of the data value.
There's no reason why we couldn't try. Not all instruments would have that data available, but we could give it a go.
Okay.
Feature freezes Friday.
I'll create an issue on this. See how this would bother me. I could see that would be very confusing to other people. What the hell is units?
Albert, can you have a quick look over 1742? I responded to your comment. I did only notice your comment after I'd merged the 0.6 version, though, which was a bit bad.
This is the Huey viewer thing. Yeah, I just wanted to know what the difficulties were. I mean, if you couldn't get it to work, it can't work. So I just wanted to make sure.
I couldn't work out a way to define the API offline variable in a scope that the skipIf decorator would pick up.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I guess the only thing I would comment on is that's the problem. You might want to add a comment on that because under code review, it looks a little bit odd. So just this line saying, has to be done this way. It'll be enough so this question will come up again.
I added a comment. Okay, in that case, unless anyone else has anything to add.
I think so.
Nope.